Hey there. If you're you're tuning into the second episode of the Electronic Atmosphere podcast, a podcast created to help you if you are an aspiring DJ or a producer trying to make it big time in the EDM industry. We understand that this journey is not an easy one, as the competition is growing tougher and tougher every day as EDM is growing more and more mainstream globally. But we have good news for you. There is always room for a good producer that creates good music. This is exactly why we created this podcast, to help you get unique value from every single person that we interview during every episode. As they share their unique story, offer you free tips and free value on how to market yourself and how to create better music as a producer, please take a good listen, as every single one of these people have a great story to tell and great tips to give. This podcast is brought to you by Electronic Apparel, a clothing company created to produce streetwear, ravewear, and gym wear for all the beautiful people out there. Our small team at Electronic Apparel, our two biggest passions are fitness and good music. This is why we want to bring it and create a community and bring it together as one as Electronic Apparel. Thank you for being here with us today. Today we are joined with a very special talent named Sly Turner, better known as Sly Turner. Known for his techno and house music and playing shows all over the local San Diego area, Ty is starting to make himself a big name in the industry. As he is nowhere where he wants to be right now, he has tons of new music coming out, as he has tons of unreleased tracks on his private SoundCloud. I gave him a quick listen, and let me tell you, they are fire. This guy has talent, so take a good listen and let's get right into the interview. How you doing, Ty?
Hey man, doing pretty good. Just chilling at my house right now. How you doing?
Good, man. Thank you for asking. How'd your day go so far?
It's going pretty good. I just got off work recently, and I'm just enjoying my free time now.
Nice. About to make some more music?
Yeah, probably as soon as this phone call's over.
Nice, man. Yeah, hey, how about you give our audience a short little background story of yourself?
Yeah, of course. So I'm 23. I live in San Diego in PB right now in Pacific Beach. Been here for about 5 years. Originally from Sacramento. It's where I went to high school and all that. And believe it or not, I actually was a football buff back then. Yeah, really, really into sports. It's basically all I wanted to do was play football. So that's why I came down to San Diego. I was going to walk onto the football team down here, and the first semester I was here, basically, as soon as I got here, my mom was calling me and was telling me that, we're probably not going to be able to afford for you to go there anymore. So I had to drop out after a semester, and I went to Santa Barbara. I was playing football there for a little bit, and then I tore my Achilles again for the second time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So after that, I just came back down to San Diego. Kind of gave up on the whole football dream. Yeah, that's kind of how I started making music. I didn't start making music until I came back from Santa Barbara.
Oh, wow. And then how old were you when you first started?
20. Yeah.
20.
So I came back my sophomore year. So I was 19 at the time, and then I didn't really get too into it immediately when I came back, but I had so much more free time because I wasn't doing football. I was like, man, I gotta fucking find something to do. So I had played piano in high school. I taught myself piano my sophomore year of high school, and I did that the last 3 years of high school. And, I was like, well, hey, I can play the keyboard pretty well. Maybe I should give music a go. So I went to Mad Decent Block Party of all places. And after I went to Mad Decent Block Party, I was like, you know what? I think I could maybe do this too. So I downloaded Ableton, and it kind of just sat there for a little bit because I didn't know what the hell I was doing at first, And then maybe 6 months later, I kind of sat down and really divulged myself into the DAW and into the program. And I just never really looked back since. I would say I've been doing it every single day for the last 3 years.
Nice, man. That's really, really cool. And did you start mixing, or did you start producing first?
Producing. Yeah. So I've only been DJing for the last 2 years, but I've been producing for just over 3. I would say just over 3 years now. So yeah, for me, it was all about production, and it's still all about production. DJing comes secondary for me, but
Yeah.
these days you got to do both. So, once I started producing, then it was like, okay, well, how do I get myself out there? You got to play shows, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the two just kind of go hand in hand. But yeah, for me, producing is definitely the focus point.
Yeah, it's funny actually. The first time I ever saw you play was at like the little show at the club Basement in downtown San
Dude,
Diego.
that's where I got my start at Basement. I don't play too much there anymore. I haven't played there in about like 8 to 12 months, but that's where I got my start. I owe everything to that place.
Nice. How about you tell us like little kind of your story, how you like got connected with the people at Basement over there?
Yeah. So, do you know Brooke Galland?
The name sounds familiar, actually.
Yeah. Okay. So she was a Fall 13 Alpha Phi.
Okay.
When I was rushing, she rushed as well. And when I came back, she kind of started figuring out that I was into DJing and stuff. And I probably talked to her about it at some point. But she mentioned that her brother Britton was a pretty successful DJ, and he had been touring and things like that. He's played like in Germany and overseas, and so she introduced me to her brother, and I drove up to Solana Beach where he lived at the time, and would basically just get a crash course in DJing and stuff from him. And then Britton, Brooke's brother, put me in contact with Ikaika, my buddy Ikaika now. And he's the guy who started booking me for Basement. So yeah, it was through friend of friend circumstances. I just kind of lucked out, I guess, and met the right people.
Just networking.
Music. Yeah, exactly. Sent him my music, sent him a couple mixes, and he liked it. And it gave me a shot. Ikaika gives a lot of up and coming DJs an opportunity to, put themselves out there in San Diego. So yeah, I owe a lot to Ikaika, and me and him still talk, very frequently to this day. So yeah, it's all love in the industry over here.
Yeah, and does he like run Basement, Ikaika?
Yeah, so he handles the booking for Basement. Right. Yeah. So I'm not sure of his official title, so I don't want to, discredit him for for anything that he's done. But I guess you would call him the talent buyer.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Okay. And then, so that leads me to my next question, actually, is what's like your genre of music, or like your unique sound, as people would say?
Right. Yeah. So it hasn't always been this way, but I'm a house and techno guy for sure.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
Love
That's been my focus for the last couple of years. It's changed, slightly within the genre. But yeah, if you're gonna put like a broad kind of generalization on it, it'd be house and techno, the stuff that I make. Yeah.
Nice. Anything special that you're working on right now?
Yeah. So I haven't put out any songs in a long time. I haven't sent out any demos in a while. But I'm working on a lot of. So I have, I'm sitting on like 20 songs right now. And I'm writing new stuff every day. Some of them are better than others. Some of them will probably never see the light of day. But that's how it goes. You make new stuff every day. If it works, great, send it out. If it doesn't, trash it.
Yeah, and you're like your biggest critic, I'm sure. So
yeah,
probably.
Yeah. I would say I throw away about 90% of the stuff that I make, and then never put it out.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah.
Dang. What are some like songs that people could look at right now that you put out in the past?
Okay. Yeah. So maybe the most popular one would probably be 24/7. It's a collab that I made with my buddy Nick Olivetti, who's really, really talented producer, DJ from Italy. But he's on Dirty Bird. He's on This Ain't Bristol, Food, Music, a lot of time labels. So yeah, I owe a lot to him because, when I reached out to him initially, I never in a million years thought he would say yes to, work on a track with me, because he's one of my idols, at the time, and still to this day. So that's a track that I'm really proud of, just because of how it all came together. And, from the time we made it to the time it came out, it was about a year.
Yeah.
So
wait, that's so cool. You just like hit him up like randomly and just ask if you wanted to collab together?
Yeah, so it's I wouldn't recommend doing this because a lot of DJs, you'll rub them the wrong way. When you ask them, hey, collab, without ever meeting anybody before. And at the time, I was stupid. I didn't know this. I was still figuring out the industry and how things work. So my ignorance led me to, one of my favorite tracks that I've put out so far. So,
yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, sometimes ignorance is bliss.
I love that. I love that. That's so cool, man. That's really cool.
Yeah.
But what tips would you have for, like, let's say that, like, I started with mixing and producing, and I just bought Logic Pro or Ableton Live 10 on my laptop. What tips do you want to give me?
Take your time. Yeah, be patient. It's not going to happen overnight. I would say the most frustrating thing at first was, you think everything's going to happen so quickly. You're like, okay, I'm going to download this. I'm going to make a banger song, and I'm going to be the next biggest touring DJ, within a year.
Yeah.
Right. And, in some cases it works out like that. But in most instances, you got to pay your dues. You got to, learn the ropes, and you got to, suffer for a little bit before you get anywhere. So I would say my biggest tips would be just focus on getting your productions to the highest possible level you can.
Mm-hmm.
Really focus on sound quality, mixing techniques, production techniques, and don't worry about blowing yourself up. If your music's good enough and, your productions are tight, then people will find out, right? And they'll find you, and they'll come to you. And that's the way it should be.
Mm-hmm.
Promoters and stuff should come to the DJs, not the other way around. At least in my opinion, that's what works. That's what works best.
Yeah, that's great advice. I mean, if you're putting out good stuff, people are going to find it over time.
Exactly. And, instead of being your own hype man, it's good when you have other people hyping you up, right? It just looks better. So, yeah. So I would say, just stay in your lane, don't get too emotional over, the things that happen along the way. You're going to go through a lot of rejection along the way, but, it speaks to the people who have done it for so long, because, you deal with rejection on a daily basis in this industry, I guess. So it kind of builds tough skin.
Yeah. And I feel like a lot of people that are just getting started nowadays, like in 2018, because electronic music is blowing up now, right? It's like starting to really, really blow up in the world. And all these new people that are trying to come in the game are like just trying to like ask and like automate like their Instagram and like have their social media try to go crazy.
You don't want to be a bot DJ.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So I'm not a big proponent of that,
trying
to build Instagram clout or whatever it may be, posting the story. Hey, look at my new post.
Yeah, it should be natural. It should come naturally.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of people take that into consideration. How likable is this DJ? How down to earth is he? Is he posting what his management team is telling him to post, or is he himself? I kind of tend to like DJs that don't really give a shit about their social media. They just kind of do them.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like a lot of these kids that are trying to spread themselves so wide on social media don't even have a produced track yet, so it's like
yeah, you'll get some. There's some instances when people will hit you up, hey, let me get a gig here, and you're like, all right, send me some of your productions, and then they don't have any.
Like, okay.
Yeah, right. So yeah, if that's like a little side question here, if you're looking to get a gig, concentrate on your productions first. Don't go asking for gigs if you don't have any songs yet. I mean, there's maybe a handful of DJs out there that can get away with being a DJ or being a touring DJ and not have any productions. I can think of Lee K, Ben UFO, and that's about it, right? So there's not many guys out there that are guys and girls out there who can just get away with strictly being a DJ, because it's so easy to do these days. And it's not easy to be a great DJ, right? But it's so accessible to so many kids out there now that to strictly be a DJ, you either got to be, the sickest guy out there, or you got to produce your own tracks.
Yeah, because producing is, as we all know, is so much harder than just throwing out a mix. Yeah,
right. And it's funny because I read this. I've been reading this book recently. It's called Noise: The Political Economy of Music.
Oh, nice.
And and in this book they say, that music is, that in the future people are just going to make their own music, right? Because technology is at such an advanced rate now that 10, 20 years it'll be so easy for people to gather samples and create their own sounds that they like, that 20, 30 years down the road people will just be making their own music, and you don't want you don't want to fall behind. So
yeah, wow,
so I'm just trying to
that's a
keep
great
up.
tip. Yeah, that's crazy. That's
Yeah.
insane. And then what I really wanted to ask you as well is, like, what tip would you give, like, for producers that are trying to just, like, network in general out there? They're just trying to, make friends in the industry. They're trying to just, yeah.
I would just say, go to a couple shows, maybe talk to some of the DJs that are there. That's what I did. Reach out in a few instances. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Because if I never did that, then I wouldn't be where I'm at right now. And I'm not anywhere where I want to be, right? I still have a ton of work to do. But yeah, reaching out to people is never a bad thing. And even though I know I said before, hey, you probably don't want to just go randomly hitting up big name DJs, but maybe those middle tier DJs, hit those guys up. That'll probably help out a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, don't be afraid to reach out. You'll get some guys that ghost you, but it's not a big deal. You're just in the same position you were before. So don't be afraid of no's, I would say. Yeah,
definitely.
Ask questions, reach out. It's just basically 6 degrees of separation theory. Through friend of a friend circumstances, you're 6 degrees away from wherever you'd like to be. So yeah, just reach out, ask questions, and most importantly, get involved in the scene too. Go to shows that maybe you wouldn't have gone to before. And you'll meet some really cool people. I've been definitely going out to try and support as many local acts as I can. Not just my own shows, but there's so many other guys down here that are doing great things right now with their music. It just builds a sense of community, and when you go and support other DJs, then they'll come back out to support you, and it just, goes around and around, and breeds a nice sense of community in the area. And we could always use a little more.
It's like a circle. You give value, you get value back.
Yeah, exactly. And there's like comparisons that go around. People say, oh, in Europe, the DJs are so much more likely to help out than the American DJs. It's kind of a known thing that it's a bit more cutthroat over here, or at least that's what people think.
I actually didn't know that.
Yeah, but down in San Diego, I would say, down here, we help each other. We help each other a lot. There's not too much bitterness down here of, other people's successes and things like that. So, down here, I think there's a really good sense of community, and we all do a lot to help each other.
Yeah, the music scene in San Diego is very nice. It's definitely a sense of community down there.
Definitely, and it's progressing too. It's house is becoming a bigger commodity.
Oh yeah,
in the electronic music scene. With big respects to Cross Festival for making that happen. Yeah. Because before Cross Festival, I mean, down here it was kind of mostly electro and trap. But since that happened, it's gotten a bit more housey and tech, which I obviously love.
Yeah.
So I love all kinds of music, but that's my sweet spot for sure.
Yeah. So back to like the networking thing, I just think like the advice that I would give is that if you have good music and you believe in your music, then feel free to just go to as many events as possible and then like talk to them in person, because
exactly.
If you have like a person-to-person connection, it's a lot more meaningful than just DMing them on Instagram, on Twitter, because anyone can do that. But a real human-to-human interaction is much more meaningful to people. So that's like my takeaway from it.
Yeah, no, I mean, 100%. I can think of like one example that comes to mind where, where I had been sending Cut Snake tracks for about a year, and I'd never met Fisher, never met Sed in person. And one night I was at Spin after Cross Festival. I think it was about a year ago. And I ran into Sed at Spin, the after party. Yeah, I just bumped into him, and I could tell that he obviously didn't know who I was at first. Even though we had kind of chatted a bit online. And I introduced myself, and it was really awkward, because I was like, "Hey, man, I've been like a huge fan for the last 2 years."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, no way! Like that's amazing." And I was like, "Yeah, I've been sending you tracks." And he's like, "Oh, what's your name?" And I told him, and he's like, "Oh, no fucking shit! Like I love your stuff." And it was just awesome to hear. And I, found out that he's local, and
he's in San Diego.
Yeah. He's in San Diego, so we've been chatting. We chat every now and again, and Yeah, he's a really great guy, really down to earth guy, but it's just one of those things where, if you didn't go out to a party to experience it, then you would have never, I would have never met him and never had that face-to-face contact with him.
Yeah.
And we still chat every now and again, but obviously he's very busy.
And you're talking about Fisher as well?
No, not Fisher. Just said. Yeah, Lee Sedley.
Okay.
Yeah, Fisher.
That would have been sick.
Yeah, I'm not homies with Fisher. But yeah. It's definitely better when you have a face-to-face contact, because I mean, just from that example, it's like the face-to-face interaction with Sed was, it was better for me than any other communication we had virtually.
Yeah, 100%. I can already tell just by your story that like he actually cared about what you were saying in person. Like he actually loved your music and loved that you came out to him and had the balls to just say hi,
Right, exactly. And yeah, we were both blacked out of our minds. I ended up getting kicked out of Spin that night. So I ended up getting kicked out, and when I was getting thrown out, Lee comes out and he's like, "Oi, what are you doing? Like, that's my mate. He's with me." And they're just like, "We don't care, man. He's drunk off his ass. He's getting 86. He's out of here."
So, that's hilarious.
Yeah. So I would say, just make connections, talk to people, whether it be virtually or, in person. Both do the job. I would say in person is a little more effective.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Just networking is definitely more important than you'd think.
Yeah, just instead of just automating your Instagram.
Right, exactly.
No, but now you got Fisher on my mind though. Did you go to Coachella weekend one?
Dude, I've never been to Coachella.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've never been.
Okay, because Fisher's Do-Lab set, the surprise set was crazy.
Really?
Yeah, it was wild. You would have loved it for sure.
I saw he's got his own stage at Hard Summer and on Holy Ship too.
Yeah,
so
that's
probably gonna be pretty crazy.
Yeah, he's trying to blow up.
Yeah, he's a crazy guy for sure. I've talked to him in person a couple times. Obviously, I don't know him, but I mean, he's the same guy that he is in person as he is on his social media and all that.
Yeah,
very likable guy. Very likable guy.
Yeah. And by the way, what's your favorite music festival?
My favorite music festival.
Yeah.
Jeez, that's Crossed. Yeah, for
Crossed.
Me, they've done so much for the house and techno scene down here in San Diego, and obviously, the fact that it's local and has gotten, as reputable as it has in the last 3 years. It's just what they do for the city and for the scene here. That's definitely my dream festival. It's maybe not the biggest, but yeah.
But to play, you really want to play at that show.
Yeah, by far my favorite. I've been to every single one.
Yeah.
Even when I wasn't supposed to.
Yeah.
When I was 20, but yeah, it's a great festival. I can't say enough about it.
Yeah, and then for people that are interested, when and where is this event at?
So Crossed is at Waterfront Park. It's twice a year. That's the other cool part, is that they do 2 of them, right? So they'll do one in the spring and one in the fall. Usually it's like October 1st and 2nd or something like that, right? Like a first weekend in October, and then like the first weekend in March is typically when it is.
Nice. That's awesome. Hey, well, Ty, thank you so much for coming on our podcast. Like, you were awesome. We got so much cool value out of you. But where can our audience find you on social media, your music, upcoming shows, etc.?
Right. So on social media, it's like soundcloud.com/Sly Turner Music. The hyperlink's all the same. So facebook.com/Sly Turner Music, twitter.com/Sly Turner Music. And then you can go on Spotify and iTunes, and I'm on there as well. And Beatport, if you want to throw me a bone and buy a track, as well too.
And then you got any upcoming shows coming up?
Yeah. So I'm playing on Friday night at Spin for the for the Anna Leno show.
No way.
Yeah. And then I'm playing at the end of the month on the 30th at Courtyard for the Shibasan show, and then that night I gotta walk over to Basement after and then go play the Mullah show.
Oh fuck yeah, that's awesome. I definitely gotta make it to at least one of those for sure.
Yeah, it'll be fun. Let me know. I got you.
Yeah, that's sick. And then for all the listeners out there, everything that he said about where you can find him on the internet, I'll have it in the show notes below. But hey, thank you so much, Sly Turner, for joining us. It was a great time talking to you. hopefully I can have you back on the show again, just to talk about some more, specific topics. But it was a great show with you. And yeah.
Thank you, man. Yeah, I appreciate it. Have a good one, man.
Yeah, have a good one.
All right. Cheers, brother.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that episode because I know I did. I love talking to Ty. He's a great guy and he's such a talented musician. I love picking his brain a little bit and getting to know him a little bit better. I hope you got a lot of free value out of this episode. And if you liked it, please give us a subscribe and leave a review if you'd like. It would help us a lot in being shown to more people so we can help as many people as possible. Because in the end, that is our main goal, is to help as many producers and upcoming DJs as possible in the industry because we know how hard it is to make it. Again, this podcast was brought to you by Electronic Apparel, and we will see you next week with the next episode. Thank you so much for joining us today, and see you soon.